If you're an educator, it probably feels like you're right in the middle of a whirlwind, right? AI is literally everywhere, and with it comes some really big questions about our jobs, our integrity, and what all this means for our students.
And really, it all boils down to these two simple questions. Can I use this stuff? And even if I can, should I? The tech is here, but the rulebook? Well, it feels like it's being written in real time. So in this explainer, we're going to build a framework together, a way for you to navigate all this and answer both of those questions with real confidence.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that can I question. Then we'll build ourselves an ethical compass. After that, we'll put it to the test, create a personal plan, and then wrap it all up with the big takeaways. Sound good? Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. The AI question, can I? And we're starting by establishing the why. Because, before we even touch on the ethics, we have to start with our responsibility as professionals. The conversation has to begin not with what the technology can do, but with the role that we play.
This quote from Nikki Hockley, it just nails it, doesn't it? Our job isn't just about using a new tool. It's about modeling how to use it right, ethically, legally, and safely. Our students are always watching, so how we use it becomes the first and maybe the most important lesson we teach. So, part 2, your ethical compass, the core principles. How do we actually model that good practice? Well, we need a guide, right? We need an ethical compass that's built on some solid principles that are going to keep us, and more importantly, our students, safe. Think of these as the 4 main points on our compass. First up, data privacy. You have to think about rules like GDPR in Europe, which has really set a global standard for protecting people's data. Second, the age of digital consent, and we'll dig into that in a sec. Third, and this is a big one, what does your own school or institution say about it? And finally, just being aware of bigger picture stuff, like the AI literacy framework from the OECD. That's the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Okay, let's zoom in on this one, because it is a big deal. The age of digital consent. This is not a suggestion, folks. It is a legal requirement in a lot of places. It's the age a student can legally agree to the terms and conditions for a tool like ChatGPT, and it's different all over the world. You absolutely have to know what the rule is where you live before you ever ask a student to sign up for anything. Seriously.
So, this is where the rubber meets the road. What does this all look like in practice? Well, here's a simple breakdown. Go ahead, use AI to brainstorm ideas, to get some initial research done, maybe even to whip up a reading list. But, and this is a huge but, it is not a replacement for your professional judgment. You should never ever just copy and paste something without checking it, and you certainly can't just take an AI lesson plan and use it as is.
And this is 100% non-negotiable. If you use it, you cite it. It's that simple. Just like any other book or website, you have to give credit. This is how we model academic integrity. Here's exactly how you can do it. You have to treat AI with the same respect you'd expect from your own students. Okay, part 3. Putting AI into practice, evaluating real-world scenarios. So we've got our principles. Now, let's put that ethical compass of ours to the test with a couple of real-world situations you might actually run into.
All right, scenario 1. Picture this. A teacher is using ChatGPT to help create some lesson aims and materials. Based on what we've talked about, this can be a pretty good starting point. But what's the benefit here? And more importantly, what's the risk? Where's the line? And the tension is right there. It's this constant tug of war between using AI as a support tool versus becoming totally over-reliant on it. The upside? Sure, it can save time and spark new ideas. The risk? We stop using our own brains, our own teaching expertise. Remember, the AI has no idea who your students are. You do.
Okay, let's kick it up a notch. Scenario 2. A teacher uses AI to generate feedback on student work. What do you think? Is this ethical? Unethical? This is where it starts to get a little tricky, right? The 2 massive issues here are transparency and bias. First, if you're using AI for feedback, are you being open with your student about that? And second, and this is the really dangerous part, these AI models can have biases baked right into them. Using them to assess student work could mean applying those unfair biases to your students. This is a real minefield. Okay, part 4, creating your AI plan from principles to a personal policy. We've looked at the principles, we've looked at the practice, now it's time to make this personal. This is all about taking what we've discussed and turning it into your very own actionable plan for using AI responsibly.
And look, this doesn't have to be some huge formal document. It can be super simple. Step 1, just define your boundaries. Draw a line in the sand. What will you use AI for and what's totally off limits? Step 2, figure out your process. How are you going to check and edit and adapt everything it gives you? And step 3, just keep a list of your questions and concerns. This stuff is changing fast, so staying curious and critical is key.
All right, we have covered a lot of ground, from the big principles all the way to a personal plan. Now it's time for our final section, our final takeaways, your path forward. Let's boil this all down to the absolute essentials you can take with you.
But before we get to the summary, I want you to just take a quiet second for this. Think about this sentence frame. I used to think, and now I think. What was your perspective on AI in the classroom before we started? And now? Has anything shifted? That little bit of personal reflection is so important for making these ideas stick. Okay, if you only remember 4 things from our time together, please let it be these. Number 1, AI is a tool. A powerful one for sure, but it is not a teacher. Number 2, you are always in charge. You are the one responsible for what happens in your classroom. Number 3, ethical use stands on 3 legs: academic integrity, protecting your students, and being transparent. And finally, number 4, always, always, always cite your source. So we end right back where we started, but hopefully with a lot more clarity. The question isn't just can I or should I anymore. Now the real question is about how. So, how will you use your new tool?